Hi everyone and welcome. What are the things which start the Christmas waiting period for you? For me, one of those things used to be Stollenkonfekt, the almost bite-sized treats which have all the good bits of the Stollen. Let's make them at home today. Let's start with putting the raisins to soak in either apple juice or alcohol like rum or orange liqueur. I soak them in syrup from the candied orange peels. Ideally, put the raisins to soak at room temperature overnight or at least a few hours before you're going to bake. And let's prepare the dough. To start, let's sip the flour in a big bowl. Leave about 2-3 tablespoons of flour for later. Let's add soft butter to the flour and the sugar. We also need to add 1 egg yolk. We will not need the egg white for the Stollenkonfekt, but leave it for something else you can make. I usually freeze the leftover egg whites to use them when the recipe calls just for egg whites. Let's also add in the bowl the baking powder, lemon zest, and the spices: cardamom, cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. I will also add now the ground almonds. Instead of ground almonds, you can use chopped almonds. And cottage cheese or quark. I did not get quark, therefore I'm adding cottage cheese, which has quite big grains, but it should be fine. Let's also add vanilla and mix everything now to form dough. It is quite hard as there is not much liquid, but it should stick together. It should be possible to shape it. Now let's cut the candied orange or lemon peel, or a mix of both, into small pieces. I am using orange peel. I will add the candied orange peel to the dough as well as the soaked raisins and mix the dough. The raisins are with the liquid we added, so the dough now will become wet and we will need to add the spoons of flour we put aside initially. I will add the flour gradually to avoid adding too much flour. I needed to add 2 tablespoons of flour, and the dough now is well mixed, can be shaped into a ball, and does not stick to the bowl or my hands. Now we need to add marzipan to it. You can add store-bought or make it at home. Let's make now a very simple marzipan, which we will add to the Stollenkonfekt. To make the marzipan, we will use 3 ingredients. One of them is ground almonds or almond flour, which we need to blend together with powdered sugar. And I will use orange liqueur as the liquid. You can also use water or liquid sweetener. I will mix it all together by pulsing, turning the blender on and off to form paste and for it to hold together but not to overblend it. If it is too wet, add a little more ground almonds. If too dry, a little more liquid. Now I will put it on the kitchen countertop and knead just a little for the marzipan to hold together. You can shape it and use in the Stollenkonfekt directly or cover with a plastic wrap and store in the fridge if you want to make it in advance. Let's dust the kitchen countertop with a bit of powdered sugar and shape the marzipan into a longer string to put in the middle of the dough. It is crumbly, so it's not possible to really roll it. It's more like stretching and pushing together. Now let's flatten the Stollenkonfekt dough to somewhat the same length as the marzipan. Put marzipan in the middle of the dough and cover with the dough from both sides. Let's gently shape the dough into a long sausage approximately 2 centimeters in diameter. The dough is also a little crumbly. It is not as elastic as yeast dough, so the same like with marzipan, it is somewhat pushing and stretching to get it into the shape we want. Reminds me of playing with Play-Doh. Let's set the oven to heat to 160 degrees Celsius or 360 degrees Fahrenheit. We're ready to shape Stollenkonfekt. Let's dust the baking tray with some powdered sugar. I have a silicone baking mat in the baking tray. You can also use parchment paper. Let's now cut the dough into small pieces, somewhat 2 centimeters thick. As there are raisins and orange peel in the dough, the cuts will not be smooth. I like to flatten each piece a little so that they are flatter, smoother, and somewhat similar, but it is not mandatory. If not flattened, they will be a bit more chunky and rustic. And arrange all on the baking tray. All Stollenkonfekt have been shaped and the baking tray is full. Let's put them to bake for about 20 to 25 minutes till they look set and have slightly browned. Remove from the oven and brush the Stollenkonfekt with melted butter. Let's let them cool a little before dusting with powdered sugar. I will just dust the top, but usually they're generously covered with powdered sugar all over. And enjoy! I'm glad you could join me today. See you next week. Bye!